Welcome to the Eat Better, Move Better, Live Better podcast presented by Flourish with Tracy, where we'll dive into the realms of holistic wellness, plant-based nutrition, yoga, and self-care to help you live your best life. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our special segments. Meditation Monday, start your week with mindfulness. Wellness Wednesdays, get the midweek boost you need. Sadhana Saturdays, dedicate weekends to personal growth. Join us as we explore and discuss all things to eat better, move better, and live better. Caffeine is one of the most widely consumed stimulants in the world, primarily found in coffees, teas, energy drinks, chocolate, and certain medications. And this may be seen as a benefit when used mindfully. Today, we're going to also talk about the risks of caffeine, and if you choose to consume, how to do so smartly. It is said that the appreciated effects of caffeine is an enhanced temporary mental alertness, that it can improve focus, reaction time, and overall cognitive performance during fatigue, temporarily boosting mood by increasing the dopamine activity in the brain. And this sometimes may lead to increase in physical performance and adrenaline levels. And that's why it's popular. However, excessive or poorly timed caffeine intake comes with significant risks. High doses can lead to insomnia, jitteriness, increased heart rate, digestive issues, and heightened anxiety. It is also very addictive, as over time, the body develops a tolerance requiring higher doses to achieve the same effect. And it perpetuates dependence. And with anything that's addictive, when you try to wean from them, you may experience withdrawal symptoms. These symptoms for caffeine may be headaches, fatigue, irritability, and depression if you remove it suddenly. And moreover, certain populations, like those experiencing pregnancy or anxiety disorder or heart conditions, may be more vulnerable to the negative effects of caffeine. To make the most of caffeine by minimizing risks, it's important to follow a few essential guidelines. Limit your daily caffeine intake to 1 to no more than 3 cups of coffee a day, depending on the strength. The more you limit your intake to 1 cup, or as close to 1 cup, the less interference you'll have with sleep, especially if you consume the caffeine earlier in the day. And don't rely on caffeine to replace proper nutrition, hydration, or sleep. Never mix it with alcohol or other stimulants, as it can mask intoxication and increase the risk of overconsumption or even complications with your heart. And track how your body reacts, as individual tolerance levels vary greatly. And you may say, well, I don't drink coffee, or I only drink 1 cup a day. You may be unaware of hidden sources of caffeine in everyday foods and beverages, and your caffeine level may be higher than you think. We know that coffee and energy drinks are main sources of caffeine, but caffeine also is present in dark chocolates, certain ice creams and yogurts, coffees that are listed with mocha, energy bars, pre-workout supplements, and even things labeled as decaffeinated coffee or tea. They may contain small amounts. There are certain over-the-counter medications for pain relief, weight loss, or cold symptoms. Each of these items may also contain caffeine. And so this makes it easy to unknowingly exceed safe caffeine levels, especially if you're sensitive or trying to reduce or cut back on your intake. And if there's too much consumption of caffeine, outside of the insomnia or jitteriness, there may be a range of more serious and sometimes overall health risks. They may be less obvious, but they are dangers of too much consumption of caffeine. For example, increased anxiety and panic attacks. Caffeine stimulates the central nervous system, which can exacerbate anxiety symptoms. In high doses, caffeine can lead to restlessness, nervousness, even full-blown panic attacks, or increase in any anxiety disorder. There may be spikes in blood pressure or concerns with your heart, as high caffeine intake can temporarily raise the blood pressure, particularly in people who are not habitual users. In susceptible individuals, it may cause heart palpitations or arrhythmias, which are irregular heartbeats. And it can be dangerous in those with existing cardiovascular conditions. Caffeine stimulates acid production in the stomach, which can lead to digestive issues such as acid reflux, gastritis, or ulcers, especially when consumed on an empty stomach. It can also act as a laxative, leading to diarrhea or gastrointestinal discomfort. Regular, consistent high doses and use of caffeine can lead to physical dependence. And if you decide that you want to consume less, you may experience withdrawal symptoms, headache, fatigue, irritability, depression, muscle pain, difficulty concentrating. You may notice that your hands shake. These symptoms can begin 12 to 24 hours after the last dose and may last up to a week. Excessive caffeine consumption may also interfere with how your body absorbs calcium and can impact your bone health, potentially contributing to decreased bone density and osteoporosis over time, especially if dietary calcium is already at low levels. High levels of caffeine, more than 200 milligrams a day, which translate to just 1 cup of coffee, between 8 to 12 ounces, can be associated with increased risk of miscarriage, low birth weight, and potential fertility concerns. Pregnant individuals are advised to limit their caffeine intake for this reason. And there's always sleep disruption, as caffeine can significantly reduce both the quantity and quality of sleep, especially if consumed in the afternoon or evening. This disruption can create a vicious cycle of daytime fatigue followed by more caffeine use, leading to chronic sleep deprivation. And this all leads to instability with mood, contributing to mood swings, especially if you're already experiencing a mood disorder. Caffeine may feel like it's initially lifting the mood, but then later result in irritability, low energy, and depressive symptoms as the stimulant wears off. Caffeine has a diuretic effect in some people, which could lead to increased urination and dehydration if not balanced with water intake. It may also irritate the bladder and worsen symptoms if you are experiencing issues or concerns with your bladder. And also, there are interactions to be concerned with medication. It can interact with Some of these medications, including antibiotics, antidepressants, and antipsychotics, these interactions can amplify the side effects or reduce the effectiveness of the medication. If you are consuming caffeine regularly and you're beginning to experience persistent or severe symptoms, it's important to consult your medical professional. Mild symptoms like the temporary jitters or insomnia may not be cause for alarm, just cause for aware, and that you may need to reduce your intake. However, if you have more significant warning signs, it may be a red flag indicating that caffeine is having a more serious effect on your health, or that there may be another underlying condition that's being masked or worsened by the caffeine. So here are a few signs that is calling you to seek medical help. Irregular or rapid heartbeat, which are palpitations. If you feel your heart racing, skipping beats, or pounding unexpectedly, especially when you're at rest, this could indicate arrhythmia. Caffeine can trigger or worsen this in sensitive individuals. And it's important to rule out that there aren't any underlying cardiovascular issues. If your anxiety or panic attacks are persistent, increasing, or severe, if you feel overwhelmingly anxious, if you're constantly feeling on edge, even after you've reduced or cut back the caffeine intake, the caffeine itself may be contributing or masking more serious anxiety disorder or concerns that need treatment. If you see sudden spikes in your blood pressure or persistently high readings, especially after you've been monitored for hypertension, you might want to check in with your healthcare provider, as caffeine may be spiking it. If you're having trouble falling or staying asleep for more than a few nights in a row, and you're noticing that your mood is impacted, your focus, or how you function daily, it all could be linked to caffeine or another sleep disorder that may require intervention. If you're experiencing gastrointestinal issues such as frequent heartburn, acid reflux, stomach pain, or diarrhea after you've consumed coffee or caffeine, it may be a signal that your digestive system is overly irritated. Be sure that you address these symptoms with an evaluation. If you're experiencing hand tremors, eyelid twitching, muscle spasms that don't go away after reducing caffeine, you may want a medical review because it could be pointing to a neurological or electrolyte balance. And if you're unable to function without caffeine and you experience severe withdrawal symptoms like the things we've mentioned earlier, the migraines, dizziness, twitching, nausea, or depression, you may wish to seek professional help to guide you through tapering off of the caffeine safely. And if there's any chest discomfort, pain, or pressure, especially if accompanied by dizziness, shortness of breath, or nausea, treat this as a medical emergency regardless of the suspected cause, regardless if you think it's caffeine related. Caffeine related heart strain is rare and it is possible, but we should never make the assumption that this type of discomfort is just a result of drinking caffeine. Always treat any pain in your chest with the utmost priority. And if you're noticing changes mentally, mood swings, feeling depressive symptoms, the irritability that all coincide when you consume caffeine or when you attempt to withdraw, consult a mental health professional to assess whether the caffeine is influencing your emotional well-being. So, as I mentioned, when in doubt, get it checked out. It's always better to be cautious. Even if the symptoms appear minor, a healthcare provider or professional can help determine whether caffeine is the root cause or if there's another medical condition that needs attention. You can keep a journal of your caffeine intake and any symptoms, which will be helpful during your visit. Transitioning off caffeine should be done with care to minimize discomfort. Gradually reducing your intake is the most effective strategy. Start by cutting 1 cup or switching to half a cup, then slowly taper over a few weeks. Replacing your afternoon coffee with an herbal tea to maintain a comforting ritual and reduce any psychological dependence. Balancing by staying hydrated is also crucial. Dehydration can mimic caffeine withdrawal symptoms like fatigue or fogginess. Consuming balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats also stabilize your blood sugar and support sustained energy all throughout the day. And that reduces the need or dependence on the caffeine. Light exercise, such as walking, exposure to sunlight, and consistent sleep schedules also help your body recalibrate its natural energy rhythms. Caffeine can be used to enhance your performance and mood, but it should be done with intention, awareness, and minimally. When you understand the effects and recognize the hidden sources, and you explore healthier alternatives and easing off gradually when you need, you can find the balance that supports your well-being. So now that you know the risks, what does healthy or smart caffeine consumption look like? Well, it focuses on using caffeine in a way that maximizes any potential benefits by minimizing the risks and side effects. What's recommended is keeping a limit. You want to stay at 400 milligrams or less. While that may not sound like a lot of caffeine, that equals roughly 3 to 4 cups of brewed coffee, 6 to 8 cups of black tea, 8 to 10 cups of green tea, or 2 energy drinks. When you think about that, it's quite a bit, especially if you add in any of the caffeine that may be hidden in other foods that we consume. And if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, your caffeine should be or recommended 200 milligrams or less. That's basically 1 cup. And when you consume matters. The best time to consume is late morning, after your body's natural cortisol peak. So late morning equals 9:30 a.m. approximately to maybe 11 or 12. Always avoid consuming caffeine 68 hours before bedtime to protect your sleep quality. And combine after a meal to reduce irritation to the stomach. And do not stack resources. For example, there are hidden sources as mentioned as chocolate, workout supplements, soda, or decaf coffee. Never mix coffee with those items in one setting. Avoid mixing caffeine with alcohol or other stimulants as well. And listen to your body. Any of the physical symptoms that we mentioned earlier, if those are present, be sensitive to it. Knowing that what's fine for one person can be too much for another. Do what's best for you and keep it purposeful. See caffeine in the same manner that you may take a supplement or a medication you take only as needed. And you can give your body occasional caffeine-free days to prevent dependence and tolerance buildup. You can realize that the consumption may be more of a habit. And so if it's a habit, like you like the idea of a hot beverage in the morning, then you can perhaps swap out traditional caffeine consumption with an alternatives that may still provide the energy boost that you're looking for without the stimulant effects. Herbal teas such as peppermint or ginger offer natural alertness and supports your digestive system. You can have an alternative coffee made out of chicory root or roasted dandelion tea. They have a similar roasted flavor, but they don't have any caffeine. Adaptogenic herbs such as ashwagandha, rhodiola, and ginseng support balanced energy and resilience to stress over time. And as you begin to incorporate more healthy things into your lifestyle, adequate sleep, regular movement, balanced nutrition, you reduce the need for caffeine boosts. So here are some delicious teas that you can use. Calming teas such as chamomile. They're very sedative. Now, if you wish to substitute drinking the caffeine late in the day, chamomile tea is great for its sedative effect. It's ideal before bedtime or after a stressful day when you want to wind down. Lemon balm tea is a member of the mint family. It soothes nervous tension and improves your mood. Passion flower tea. It helps to calm down anxiety or nervous restlessness. Tulsi or holy basil, that's also an adaptogen that helps the body respond to physical and emotional stress. Peppermint tea is refreshing and calming, especially for tension headaches and digestive anxiety. Lavender tea help relax the mind. You can also substitute with nourishing caffeine-free hot tonics and drinks, such as golden milk, a delicious hot beverage made with turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, and your favorite non-dairy milk. It is anti-inflammatory and grounding and delicious. Reishi mushroom tonics, they help regulate the stress response. There are several that come in a powdered form. Matcha, it promotes calm and it's the same effect of caffeine for alertness without the jolt of the caffeine. Dandelion root tea supports liver health. It has a roasty flavor that's similar to coffee. And you can also drink warm lemon water. It's a gentle digestive aid and helps boost your hydration. Caffeine may be helpful when used minimally, wisely to enhance alertness, mood, and performance. However, it's important to recognize that its benefits come with risk, especially when consumed in excess or relied on too heavily. By understanding the proper usage, being mindful of hidden sources of caffeine, exploring healthier alternatives, and knowing when to seek medical advice, you can make more informed choices about your health. Whether you're looking to moderate your intake or transition off caffeine entirely, small intentional changes can lead to more stable energy, better sleep, and improved overall well-being. Taking the time to learn how to use caffeine responsibly can aid in a healthier lifestyle. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's insights help you on a personal journey towards a healthier, happier life. Don't forget to join every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for more self-care and holistic wellness tips. Before you go, make sure to comment, click the bell, like, and subscribe buttons for upcoming episode notifications. Be sure to always consult a medical professional before making any major changes regarding your health, diet, or routine. In the meanwhile, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, every step you take is one step closer to a better you. Until next time, keep flourishing, and as always, may all be well.